I'm going to be doing a video today on Saipan, which is one of the islands where the Northern Mariana Islands. It's one of the most remote places in the world. I actually had a person who wanted me to do a video on this and a few other things too. I went ahead and picked this one, but I wanted to go over the Northern Mariana Islands so you would get a little bit of background how this particular island, Saipan, fits in. It's actually part of this section of the world, and I'm going to give you my opinion on this place as far as if you want to move there. But the Northern Mariana Islands came under U.S. sovereignty on November the 4th, 1986, and the islanders became U.S. citizens. Also on November the 4th, 1986, the Northern Mariana Islands Constitution became fully effective under this covenant. Now, do you need a passport to travel to or from U.S. territories or freely associated states? All right, now, the travel documents that you need as a U.S. citizen to travel to or from a U.S. territory or freely associated state depends on your destination. U.S. citizens do not need a passport to travel between the U.S. and these territories, and they are Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, and this is what I'm going to be talking to you about today. But just to give you a better understanding, the other ones that you don't need a passport to travel to is Puerto Rico and also the U.S. Virgin Islands. Now, the U.S. citizens do need a passport to travel to these territories that are also called what's called freely associated states, and they are American Samoa. Then you got Guam, which is on a case-by-case basis. You'll need a photo ID and proof of citizenship. May be accepted instead. And then another place called the Federated States of Micronesia. And then you have the Republic of the Marshall Islands and also the Republic of Palau. Now, these are all really remote places except for, the first ones that I mentioned. But the Northern Mariana Islands, officially the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, is an unincorporated territory and Commonwealth of the United States consisting of 14 islands in the northwestern Pacific Ocean. Now, I'm just going to abbreviate for it just to make it quicker, where it's just when I'm reading here, Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, we're going to abbreviate that, called the CNMI. But this includes like 14 northernmost islands in the Mariana Archipelago. The southernmost island, which is called Guam, which a lot of people have heard of, is a separate U.S. territory. And then the Northern Mariana Islands were listed by the United Nations as a non-self-governing territory until 1990. Now, the United States Department of the Interior cites a landmass of around 183.5 square miles, according to the 2020 United States Census. 47,329 people were living in this CNMI at this time. Now, the vast majority of the population resides on a place called Saipan, and which I'm going to be talking to you about today. And there are two other islands too, which I'm not going to be really hitting on, but they are Tinian and Roto. Now, the other islands of the Northern Marianas are sparsely inhabited. The most notable among these is Magellan, which for various reasons over the centuries has experienced major population flux, but formerly had residents numbering in the thousands. The administration center is called Capitol Hill. It's a village in northwestern Saipan. Now, let's look at I'm going to give you a little bit of history on this place, on how far it goes back. The Mariana Islands were the first islands settled by humans in remote Oceania. Incidentally, it's also the first and the longest of the ocean crossing voyages of the Austronesian peoples, and separate from the later Polynesian settlement of the rest of the remote Oceania. They were first settled around 1500 to around 1400 BC by migrants departing from the Philippines. Now, they were first settled around 1500 to 1400 BC by migrants departing from the Philippines. This was followed by a second migration from the Caroline Islands by the first millennium AD, and a third migration from island Southeast Asia, likely the Philippines or eastern Indonesia, by around 900 AD. Now, in 2013, archaeologists posited that the first people to settle in the Marianas may have made what was at that point the longest uninterrupted ocean crossing voyage in human history. Now, the archipelago evidence indicates that Tinian may have been the first Pacific island to be settled. The Portuguese navigator Ferdinand Magellan, sailing under the Spanish flag, arrived in 1521. He and his crew were the first Europeans to arrive in the Mariana Islands. He landed on Guam, the southernmost land of the Marianas, and claimed the archipelago for Spain. The Spanish ships were met offshore by the native Chamorros, who delivered refreshments and then helped themselves to a small boat belonging to Magellan's fleet. This led to a cultural clash. In Chamorro tradition, little property was private, and taking something one needed, such as a boat for fishing, didn't count as stealing. The Spanish did not understand this custom and fought the Chamorros until the boat was recovered. 3 days after he had been welcomed on his arrival, Magellan fled the archipelago, and Spain regarded the islands as annexed and later made them part of the Spanish East Indies in 1565. Now, in 1734, the Spanish built a royal palace, the Plaza de España, in Guam for the governor of the islands. The palace was largely destroyed during World War II, but portions of it still remain. Now, Guam operated as an important stopover between the Philippines and Mexico for Manila galleon carrying trading between Spanish colonies. Now, in 1668, Father Diego Luis de San Vitores renamed the islands Las Marianas in honor of his patrons, the Spanish regent Mariana of Austria, and she lived from 1634 to 1696. This was the widow of Philippe IV, reigned from 1621 to 1665. Now, most of the island natives' population, 95% died from European diseases carried by the Spaniards or married non-Chamorro settlers under Spanish rule. New settlers, primarily from the Philippines and the Carolina Islands, were brought to repopulate the islands. The Chamorro population gradually recovered, and Chamorro, Filipina, and Rifawosh languages and other ethnic groups remain in the Marianas. Now, one of the islands, which this was one of the islands that the guy wanted me to talk to you about, which is Saipan. It's the largest island of the Northern Mariana Islands, a Commonwealth of the United States in the Western Pacific Ocean. According to 2020 estimates by the United States Census Bureau, the population of Saipan was 43,385. It's a decline of 10% from its 2010 count of 48,220. Now, the legislation and executive branches of Commonwealth government are located in the village of Capitol Hill, on the island where the judicial branch is headquartered in the village of Saspi. Now, since the entire island is organized as a single municipality, most publications designate Saipan as the Commonwealth's capital. Now, the climate doesn't change that much. It's very tropical. In fact, it's similar to St. Kitts. St. Kitts doesn't have, where I live, it's only about a 5-degree temperature. And here it stays pretty much around 84 degrees all year round, which is almost the same temperature as St. Kitts. In fact, there's so little seasonal temperature variation. The Saipan had been cited in the Guinness Book of World Records as having the least fluctuating temperatures of any country in the world. Now, however, the temperature is affected by elevation, hence the island shows considerable variation between the coastal and mountainous areas. The drier season runs between December to June, and the rainier from July to November. Typhoon season runs from July to December, and Saipan, along with the rest of the Mariana Islands, is subject to at least one typhoon each year. The majority of the native Chamorro and Carolina population are Catholic. About half of the general population on the island are foreign contract workers, mainly Catholics of Filipino descent. Numerous Christian churches are active in Saipan, providing services in various languages, including English, Chamorro, Tagalog, which is the Filipino language, and then you got Korean and Chinese. Now, in conjunction to the rest of the Northern Mariana Islands, there are Chinese and Filipino Protestant and Catholic churches, a Korean Protestant church, there's 3 mosques for the Bangladeshi community, and a Buddhist temple. Now, what's the source of income in Saipan? Tourism is the principal economic activity. Saipan and Rota are the main tourist centers and offer luxury hotels. The tourists are mainly Japanese and Americans. You have what's called the American Trust Territory period. After World War II, Saipan became part of the Trust Territory of the Pacific Islands, administered by the United States. The island continued to be dominated by the United States military. Now, since 1978, the island has been a municipality of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. The military presence began to be replaced by tourism in the 1990s, but still plays an important role in the local economy. The GDP per capita is actually pretty high at around 24,000 US dollars a year. Now, let me just tell you what my opinion about this. I'll be honest with you, I would not move to an island like this. It's not self-governing. It's pretty much, you've got a U.S. passport you use when you go there. If I was going to be spending time going to a country, I would want to go to a country that's a republic or self-governing country and not part of the U.S. if you're a U.S. citizen. If you're a Canadian or from some other high-tax country, I would be trying to get a separate passport that has absolutely nothing to do with the country. In fact, if you get a chance, go to our website. You can pull up the flag theory at the top of the website. That's www.citizenshipquickly.com. Look at the flag theory. This is what you ought to be looking for when you're trying to get residency in a country. You want to get something that's not connected to the place that you're living. Now, I do see one advantage of moving to a place like this. I've been doing a lot of research just, in fact, today on, I'm going to be doing another video on this, is what happens if a nuclear bomb hits and World War III is started. You're going to see a totally different war than what we saw in World War II. You're going to see a lot of places that will be unlivable for many, many years. You won't be able to eat the food, drink the water. It's going to be a disaster. Will it happen? I have no doubt we're going to have a nuclear war sometime in the future. I don't know if it'll be in my lifetime, but this would be a country that would be good for that purpose. And if you're a U.S. citizen already, you would have accessibility to go to this. You wouldn't even need, you would have to fill out some paperwork to get residency there, but you would have free travel in and out of there. And this is a very remote area away from places that you would see nuclear bombs, taking effect. Now, I saw in one survey that we're talking about Australia as a safe place to live. I don't put my faith in that. And the reason is they're having a lot of conflicts with China right now. And China's got nuclear bombs. And Australia does not right now. They're talking about having them. But these are some things that I would be looking into because I have no doubt it's going to happen. Just when it's going to happen, is the question. But I would be having a place that's safe from nuclear explosions. And this, from the area of the world where it's at, it's a very remote area. I think you would be pretty safe in a place like this. The deep southern part of South America would be good because it's way away from the U.S. It's way away from Russia, Ukraine, the other places, Southeast Asia, where some of these, when I say Southeast Asia, I'm talking about the Philippines, North Korea. North Korea is not really in Southeast Asia, but it's right there adjacent to China. And these are places I would not be. I mean, places that have the nuclear bombs. These are places I would try to stay away from. Anyway, I would be looking, like I said, for a self-governing country that is not connected to your country. If you're a U.S. citizen, this is not what you want as far as taxes, sovereignty. You want to find a separate country for that. If you want to know more on this, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen right here, and you'll get new videos automatically as they come out. and I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.